I feel like I haven't connected with my Google in a while, so I'm struggling to find an example.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I interrupted.
Oh,
Yeah, no, that's okay. That was good. It gave me extra hunt time. This one here.
my friends and I do the we Snapchat each other when we do run, because then you Snapchat everyone you know should be running and say I ran today,
Yes.
because then you just kind of push it at them. But I need people to do it to me more.
Yes, exactly.
Snapchat
Oh,
me
I
and say you
understand.
ran.
Okay, guys. So do not do observe
Yeah.
closely. It's
Yeah.
we're not doing this until oh, you know what? Hang on.
Are you talking to us, Joanne?
No, I'm sorry. You know what? I have to get out of here then because I'm talking to my students. And if I
Oh.
unmute here, I'm talking to you. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
That's funny.
It's okay.
Who's presenting?
This me, it's Pam.
Oh, okay.
It's just us, right? The four of us. There's nobody else.
Christine is here.
We are
Come on,
talking
no,
virtual. I'm talking about the virtual world.
Yes. So I'm just going back into something like you talked about assessment of writing kind of thing. And
Yeah.
you might have had, these examples are narrative and ones are persuasive. What do we want kids to do? So you might craft that for when you're doing your journal. What are the things that are in there?
Yeah.
And to get them to be better writers, if we think about focusing on those 6 traits of writing, I can send this to you just to go through all of this. And we'll click, click, click. So when we got to that learning goal and kind of success criteria, so we were trying to use, we're trying to find our voice as storytellers as we use striking and beautiful language to share a point of view. So I can see that as a journal one, we're trying to tell our own stories and use beautiful language. And you think about the stories you're using, you highlight that. So when you get into the success criteria for them is I could learn new words from reading and try them out in my writing and have them actually do that, underline those words and talk about those things, or colorful words and how that show rather than tell. I want to know that, I'm walking down the street and the rain fell on my head. That you're telling me what's happening. I want you to show me that the rain is falling on my head.
Are you thinking this would be, I think Lindsay's looking for more is this in a Google Doc or is this in a rubric? I think you're looking for the checklist. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think these are good examples of success criteria, but it's how do you get the kids to?
I'm wondering, because I'm even as you were just saying that, you could, you said, underline it. So in just my instruction of my assignment, I could say underline your adjectives and put your, I don't know,
highlight something maybe.
Yeah, change the color of something, because then that's them having to go back and do those steps after they've written, because then they're checking their work before they submit it, if that makes sense. Because
it could even be numbered, right? It could say you could write 5 adjectives. Underline 5 adjectives, right? So at least they know if they.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a rubric. I don't know. I don't love rubrics.
Yeah.
I just struggle with them.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're building that success criteria with them, I'm just trying to have a graphic there. If we're working with this success criteria, you would do your mini lessons around that, right? So we read the book today and we're going to pull this out. So the next day when they're writing their journal, you'd say, this is what we're trying to be using to be more successful as writers. So to prove me that this is your self-assessment, you highlight these words and ask you a question about them when we come back to consolidate our writing. So make it more actionable for the kid, because they have to work harder than you for it to be learning.
Well, and that's what I struggle with the rubric, because it takes me forever, and then they're not reading it all. So I feel like I'm doing
the work, right?
But
so
work, but then I still struggle with Google Classroom and sharing. I'm also trying to do my NTIP evaluation, so I feel like that's in my head.
Yeah.
Because it's been 3 years, but I should probably get that done.
Yeah.
But it's communicating with our parents, and because I feel like that's so hard with Google Classroom and virtual. We're constantly having conversations with our parents, but are we actually letting them know how they're doing? It's
right,
because they don't see grades. That parents can't see Google Classroom unless they sign in as a kid.
And could that even if in the Google Classroom, like if you're using your document, can you have like a little Post-it note, like the comment piece, and say, and put that on the document, say, this is our learning goal and success criteria.
So I usually put it in like the assignment description in classroom.
Yeah, so it's not in a place where they're seeing it up in front, kind of thing. That's your kind of struggle.
Yeah.
I'll think about that and get back to you, because it's a great question. Because we want kids to be aware of what, making that learning goal and what they have to do to be successful, to make it visible to them.
Right. And I'm just seeing that my students who have been with me since September are most like a lot of them are staying for the year. And this is a whole year of them learning and showing their learning and needing to know where they're at. And so it's like, I feel like I'm at a point in the virtual year where like we really need to start making
down
visual for them.
Yeah, because you probably find if you start doing a checklist, kids will be like, check, 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 check.
Totally.
And then it's just like, yes.
But they also do it on paper or something that I never can see that they're actually doing it, because that's what we're missing from the virtual world, because I normally would see them doing that process where I can't see them anymore.
Do you ever use Google Forms or anything like that?
Not as much as I could, probably.
Yeah, so I think I can show you some examples of a Google form, how you could do that.
Okay, so they do their assignment and then they do their Google form to like check.
Yeah, so
that
then
they've done everything.
Yeah, so it's a survey.
That would be
question.
good.
Yeah, so I've got some samples of that too. That
would be cool.
Just a link within your assignment. And so like when you're done, do the self-assessment on.
But even something it's funny, even something as simple as like you'd send home a project with a rubric on it for the parents to see how it went or whatever. It's so hard to do that. Like, how do I do that? So I have a website and I post like when my students did art, we put like, I put them on all in one slide and posted it on my website, but it's still like, I can't post everyone's grade on my website or
no, exactly.
feedback or whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I like the Google Forms though. That sounds good.
Yes. I'll hunt.
It could even be just something that I give them. It's not attached to the assignment. They say, I'm done. And I say, here's your Google form to fill out. To really show that you're like, now this is your final step. Do you need to unsubmit your assignment or not?
Yeah. So people tuning in are probably going, what are they talking about? Do we?
Yeah,
I know.
So I think it's Laura and Christine.
Yeah. I'm just gonna piggyback there, Lindsay, on Google Forms. I use them daily. Just with before the break, like we had 15 minutes of the non-time type thing, like non-supervised time, where the kids were coming in and what do they do? And again, Prince would be in and out, I'd be in and out of the classroom, but they were unsupervised. So I give them bell work. I call it bell work every day. And you pull your language, and I'd use math, but I just kind of, whatever I taught the day before, then I give a Google quiz or like the Google Forms, but I call it bell work quiz every morning. And so you're just kind of focusing on, okay, did they get that lesson? Did they get that concept? Are they understanding or not understanding type thing? So it's good to see, where they're at. And again, I just kind of got in at the last bit. So I'm thinking you're talking about language, but you could use those strategies for language too and put those in the quiz, make your own quizzes. So you know specifically what you taught them the day before and did they grab that concept type thing in that Google quiz. And so today, and even yesterday and today, I had those bell works. My kids are like, they're tuned to it, like they're waiting for it and wanting those quizzes, because they can see their automatic mark or grade as soon as they submit it as well. So it kind of reaffirms to them, oh crap, or yeah, I'm getting this. So Google Forms are a great thing. Lara's in the chat. Do you have is it Lara?
Laura.
Lara. Hi, Lara.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Look at you. You get us all to yourselves, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just finished off for the day and it was awesome. Day went great. Obviously a few hiccups though. My issue was think there's a name called Zoom bombing or something like that. So
Mhm.
one of my students in my class did share my Google Meet link, and I had probably 15 different kids log into my Google Meet throughout the day. Some of them logged in from different emails like frog killer and weird things, and it asked accept or deny. So I was denying requests for those logging in throughout the day, but then other ones were able to just log in and immediately they were like, nah, and like in front of the screen making faces, or they had like profound, whatever, inappropriate music in the background. And things like that. And so it would just like, and then by the time I got off of what I was doing and logged back into like see where all of my kids were and to go unmute them, they were gone. So they were logging in and out multiple times throughout the day, and it was just really distracting. And I was wondering, how do I go about making it so that that can't happen? Is there a way to do that?
So kids will automatically be admitted if they're using their LKDSB.com email.
Yeah, and some of them were LKDSB students. So I had an EA in my class for a few different sessions today, and she was able to actually pull out 4 names. So there was tons of them, but she was able to see 4 of them and write them down quick before they were able to log out. So she looked up 3 of them in her email just by typing them in, and their email did come up. So 3 of them were LKDSB students from another school. We just don't know where yet,
Right.
but the other one didn't pop up. So I'm just wondering, like
Your administrator knows all about this already?
Yeah, I contacted them first just because I was wondering kind of where to go with it. I can probably Google and figure some stuff out myself, but I was like, if somebody has that answer for me without having to invest all that time of researching, I figured I'd ask first. But they said maybe this would be a good area to log on and see if you guys may have had that happen or know what to do.
The
You
other
know
thing
who
is
was
some
in
of the
your
teachers
shift?
were talking about kids just showing up when they weren't in their class, not problem kids, just random kids. And because there are so many meets happening and there's so many, like you type one character wrong, you may end up in a different meet.
Yep.
Right. So there's that piece as well.
Absolutely.
You
And
can
that's what I was
remove
thinking
kids.
happened the first couple times, but then throughout the day, as it became progressively more and more, I was wondering if maybe this wasn't something explicitly targeted to happen. And they seemed pretty silly and ready to be on camera and then log off really quick. So I think I have an idea of who it was in my class who had shared the link, just because there were some similar distractions in the background throughout their camera throughout the day. So but I also don't know that for sure, right? But I was just wondering, I'm like, it's weird that I had some login and they needed me to admit access while there were others that were just coming in randomly. And then, so I was working through Google Meet on my calendar to see how I can alter it. And the only option that seemed to come up was under guest permissions. It was like that invite tab. But then I'm wondering, like today, for example, with all my kids who got logged out with the Coach Go thing, if they were to log back in at another time, would they be able to, or I just wasn't sure what to do with that. So.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That must have been really stressful.
You know what? Honestly, my class, they're phenomenal. They're so great. And I just said, you know what, guys, like majority of the time I was screen sharing anyways.
Yeah.
So they were only seeing what was on my screen. So that was perfect. And I just said, if we're not screen sharing and you happen to see something, just ignore it. They're obviously looking for attention. And I had a long talk about it being inappropriate and that I'm in my home and so are the students, and that, you know, they could be seeing things in our house, and that's an invasion of our privacy for somebody outside of our classroom to be brought into that. And so I had a long talk about it, but it still continued to happen. So tomorrow's a new day, and I'm hoping that maybe the message got cleared, but I'm just trying to be proactive and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Absolutely. Well, you did the right thing about, if you don't, like what Steph said, if they're getting in automatically, it's because they have the lkdsb.com address. So
Okay.
that's a check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then if the other ones are knocking at the door because they don't have the lkdsb.com, and so you're saying, you know, killer frog, you're not welcome.
Yes.
That's right. Even if you can keep track of those too, because I mean, that might be worthy of investigation further, but having your administrator aware of the situation is very important. So I'm glad you already had that conversation.
So Laura, they weren't on there long enough for you to like exit them from the meet even?
No, no,
Right.
not even
So
long
they're
enough.
just-
Like by the time I basically got from, if like, obviously I seen them when I wasn't screen sharing.
Right.
And so by the time I was able to get to like the people tab, so what, like, I have a bunch of kids, right? So it's a long scroll.
Mhm.
So I would be like maybe at the bottom and then I would scroll up to the top to try and find them and they would already be gone by the time I got there. So
Right.
yeah, they were in and out so quick. So that's why I was really grateful that I had my EA on
Yeah.
with me because she was able to catch a few of the names, but like there were tons of them coming in and out throughout the day. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I just don't want that to be a routine.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, and certainly like you've talked to your class about it and you have some ideas about who's doing it so that you can like, if you kind of nail it down, you could even have a chat with those parents, right? And
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Sally sent a little picture in the chat.
Yeah.
So in your settings under the host controls. So there's things that are toggled on there in that image. So like only the host can share their screen. So if you know you're going to do that for the next half hour because you're doing the lesson, you can turn that on so only the host can share the screen and then nobody else is going to take over the screen. So that's good. So that might be just a place for you to look at and just decide which ones are the best for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that today. That worked out well. None of my students have the option to share their screen. It was more like when they're in that I don't even know what you call it, kind of the grid view.
Grid view.
Yeah, when they're in the grid view, it was more just that. And that's why I mean, like my day was still successful and the kids were still engaged and lessons went well and it was what it was, but it was just more the grid view where somebody would pop on and, you know, they're like doing obnoxious things with their hands and, you know, sticking
It's
their
like they're
tongue out.
walking
Or,
down the hall and they're jumping around your window. Like
right, exactly. Well, and there were certain like things that were brought up too that were like inappropriate images, right? So someone must have had like their phone out, for example, and they had an inappropriate image up on it and they like held it in front of the camera like that, right? And then, and I mean, like I'm talking gross images. So it was a distraction and not all my students seen it because it depended who was open on their grid view. But the ones who did see it, like they were just like, ew, what is that? Why are you doing that? And I was just like, oh man, I'm so sorry. And like most of the times I missed it because by the time I got to figuring out who it was already gone. So yeah.
Laura,
All right.
do you have two devices that maybe you could like log in so that you can always see all your kids and always see your screen share?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Oh,
I wasn't using both of them today only because my one device just for some reason will not log into a Google Meet. I don't know what was going on with it today.
okay.
So I was like 5 minutes late getting into my class because it was up
Right.
and running. And then once kids started coming in, something happened and it just wouldn't work anymore. So I had to run and go grab my other device and log into my Meet as the presenter on that one. And then my other one just was out for the day. So I'm going to spend my night trying to figure out how to get back in with that. But normally I would have both.
Laura, I think that there was just problems with Google Suites in general today, but then there was also Kojiko issues. So it may just be that it's not going to happen tomorrow, but you might want to hard power down your device. I just wanted to say something about the students jumping in like that. Personally, I think that like when we're in this environment, we have to really heavily rely on parents. And so I would send an email. This is what I would personally do. I don't know if I don't have an answer, but I would email the parents and I would ask for their help saying like, this is what happened today. Can you please have a talk with your student or your child and to support that they're not sharing the link. And then you could also video record your session, I think. I don't know. Pam, what do you think about that? Like if it's continuing and it's not stopping, then she could record for a brief section to like figure out who it is, because then she'll be able to go back and look.
I don't know the rules about privacy and all that kind of stuff about that. So again, that's a
Maybe it's something to ask the principal.
Yeah, because I don't know the privacy rules about recording. Like, you know, will we record our classroom? Like,
But
you know,
I do think that if you ask the parents for help,
Yeah.
that will
absolutely. That, I think
hopefully
that's a
prevent
great
it.
advice.
If it
Yeah.
doesn't,
just-
Yeah. And
Have you
that's
gotten-
my next step that I do definitely want to take. I think my areas, the reason I'm reaching out to you guys is because the homes that I think it's coming from, there is no parent communication, and there isn't even with the office, right? If they're gone
Yeah.
for a day, they don't get through to them.
Right.
I've actually never touched base with either two of the households that I thought it was coming from, but I also don't know for sure that that's where it is coming from.
Right.
So
Right.
I am going to send the email, but I also am anticipating I'm not going to get a response back. And I don't know that they even know. Like one of them, it sounds like mom's like a best friend, right? Based on stories I've heard, it's like they hang out and think things are funny together, which is fine. That's why I'm here, because I'm like, I just want to see if I can
Yeah.
do something on my end to like prevent it without having to rely on that. Like if it was any of my other students, there were a few that were goofy that I'm like, I'll just forward off a quick email. But for this, I'm like, it was just pretty vulgar stuff to the degree where I'm like, that's absolutely not okay. And I just don't want it to happen again.
Absolutely.
another option might be, I don't know for sure, but if you go into your Google Meet, like when you create it in Calendar,
Yeah.
and then there in the settings, if you specifically invite the students by name, then like if it doesn't work tomorrow and you send out the email and like no parents parents haven't addressed it, then I would go to that next step and like specifically inviting kids by name to the meet, and so then nobody else can join.
Okay, I'm just gonna quickly open my calendar here if you don't mind, because I just wanna see, I'm not sure that I know exactly how to do that.
And I'm not 100% either, but I think you can do that. So
Yes, I
Okay.
think so too. It's like makes a closed one, because when you're sharing the link, you're always worried about who can get access to the link.
Right, and that's what I
But
was
it's-
wondering. So so I'm in my meet right now, and I'm thinking that if I go under where it says guests and I click add guests, that's where I
Yeah.
can add the students directly to it. So does the meet link still then only allow those people to access?
Yeah, because I think then it adds to their calendar or their email. So
Okay.
they open that to access it. And so then they still may share that link, but it's going to be easier to find out who you shared it with.
but I don't know, because if it says only people invited can attend, so only through that person's specific
Yeah.
account will it allow them to join. That's what I was
So it-
thinking, but I don't know.
Okay. I might just be proactive and go that route and just enter my class in. The only issue I think I'm going to have is that, like I said, some of my families are logging their kids in on their devices because they have multiple kids in the home, and they're using like their Gmail account to log one of the kids in. So
Right.
that's just going to have to be a communication thing where I'm going to have to reach out to them and just encourage them to try and use their kids' Gmail through LKDSB. So if that does come up, then I'll just address that. But yeah, I think I might just go through and edit my meet for tomorrow. I didn't realize that you could
Yeah.
do that. That's
Add
kind of more
this,
what I
yeah.
was looking for. Yeah, thank you for letting me know that.
Well, one thing
you
you've
let
got
us know
going.
if it worked.
Yeah, I think that's right, Sally. I think that's, so then it keeps the group private. You've got going for you, Lara, is that you're treating this very calmly. That's good.
Oh, here, Laura, on here, it says guest permissions. You need
Yeah.
to click this off, invite others.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering. That's
Yeah.
the link, but then if I see, okay, this was my question. So I was working around with that before I hopped on here. If I unclick invite others and then I still share my meet, that the actual meet itself doesn't change, like none of the letters or numbers change in it. So I can continue to use that one, which is fine. But if I unclick invite others and I have that meet link, and one of my students still shares that meet link, right? It's still that link. It's not that they're inviting someone to jump in and join. It's that
could
they're
be.
actually
Yeah.
sharing the
Mhm.
physical link to
Mhm.
get on. So I
Mhm.
think I'm
Mhm.
still going to have that issue if I do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think inviting guests, like Sally said, is probably going to be my only way. Like above where it says guest permissions on your screen, Kate,
Mhm.
where it says add guests, if you click there, then I
Yeah.
can select just my students and
Yeah.
have the 27 of them under there. And then that meet will only be available for them. Is that the way that works?
I don't know.
We don't know.
I'm hoping so. Like,
Well,
cross
guess
our
what?
fingers.
I'm going to try it and I'll let
Yeah.
you know if it works.
You can let
Yeah.
us know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I didn't know that option was there. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, ladies. I
Yeah,
appreciate
good luck,
it.
Laura.
Gentlemen, I appreciate your help very much.
Thank you for being so open and sharing.
Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah.
So Christine, we had like a whole presentation, but we obviously didn't go through it because there was not really anybody here except yourself. I don't know if there's anything that you're looking for that we can help you with. Or you're just coming for ideas, or what were you thinking? Or Laura too, if you're still there. I think we have, what time is
Yeah, I'm
it?
still here, just hanging out.
Okay. I think we'll probably stay on for another few minutes.
Mhm.
I
So
don't
we have,
know if Christine is still there or not.
Yeah, I'm still here. No, I'm kind of, no, because I really like your sessions, and you always share some valuable information, but I'm a 4, 5, 6 split teacher. So yesterday I was in meetings for 2 hours. So if there's
Yeah.
nothing else, I will log out because I am on my prep. So I'll get some stuff done and then I'll log in for the
Sure.
next
Sure.
session.
Well, I'm going to start the grade 3 session here shortly, and then you might be popping into Sally's session, the grade
Yeah.
5, 6 session. And so then you'll get lots there too.
Yeah. So with that being said, because I do have those splits, and I know I'm in a very unique situation,
Mhm.
and I know in the spring you guys did junior meetings.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can do that? Like I know I'm sounding selfish here, but
you can always ask.
Yeah,
I don't
for
think you
sure.
have to show up for all of them. Like,
No,
I think,
just pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I know,
Yeah.
but like they're always, both sessions yesterday like had great information, and and I've been trying those things. They've been working, and same with like in the spring, like the sessions were so good, and I got so much information. I'm always afraid to miss out on things. So
So
I
they
know I
are
can take my own
recorded.
time, but
So
What
they
Pam
will be
said.
recorded. Yeah, they're being recorded.
yeah,
This one probably won't be. But like yesterday's sessions were all recorded and they're up on the blog. So if
yeah.
you 24 hours, you'll see the sessions. So
and you could fast
then-
forward to the point where you wanted to get to.
absolutely, you get through all the chit chat at the start and
Christine,
and
I
find
think
that.
one of the things I thought might be helpful today for teachers that I think are kind of over the tech piece a little bit,
Yeah.
and kind of looking for a little bit more. I was going to get one of the virtual teachers to sort of share their screen and kind of go through how their day looks, because they use slides to sort of organize their day plan.
Yeah.
Is that something that would interest you? Because if so, then I'm going to continue to plan that for tomorrow.
Yeah, no, that would be good, because I just I just do everything on Google Classroom, and I have my files and I have, my daily schedule. So we just kind of clicked in and out of that type thing. And the day went awesome. Like my kids are great.
Good.
It's just,
That's
we
good.
have a big class and
Yeah.
in the 3 grades, right? But no, the kids were excellent. And, but I would like to, are the Google Slides easier type thing? Cause I was looking through Melissa Dent's postings and like she has a lot of great information type things. So, do I do the Google Slides or do I just keep doing what I've been doing?
And you know what, like for this week, you have 3 days left, right? So you don't want to try and plan something totally new, but it
Yeah.
might give you an idea of what it looks like for them. And maybe it's something you're like, oh, I feel good in slides, and that would be easy for me to
Yeah.
flip through
Yeah.
and go for it. So I just thought I would just go through that and see.
Yeah, no, that would be great.
And also, the heaven forbid your class gets sent home for remote learning, right? These are all other things that you could do should that happen. Hopefully not. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We'll be back Monday, but I'm trying to be optimistic.
Me too.
Yeah.
Wash your
Okay.
hands.
Yeah.
We'll be here
Exactly.
tomorrow. Christine, check back tomorrow. Hopefully more people are able to join in.
Okay.
And
I
then
know.
we'll-
I like our day doesn't end till 2:50, so I don't have prep at the end of the day tomorrow, so I won't be able to get in tomorrow. But I'll watch the recording,
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
and then I'll just log into the 3 o'clock
Yeah.
one tomorrow.
Yeah, and the 3 o'clock one, well, Sally's doing her 5-6, so that's kind of more up your alley.
Yeah.
But we're running a grade 3 one, and I think it's similar to my grade 4 one.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So even though it's grade 3, it's not really content. It's not really grade 3 expectations. It's more
Yeah.
because they're using Seesaw.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
Mhm.
Google Classroom, so good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, thanks, ladies.
Okay, thanks for coming.
Take care.
Bye
See
now.
you later.
We should probably hop over to the other one.